the Syria crisis and the global players around it. In March 2011, a wave of revolutions shook the Middle East in uprisings known as the Arab Spring. Syria stood up to challenge its four-decade dictatorship, first with peaceful protests, which then sparked a violent crackdown by the government, plunging the country into civil war. Since then, tens of thousands of people have died, millions have been forced from their homes, and the world hasn't found a way to stop it. Why? Because world powers, the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, are split over what to do with Syria and its president Bashar al-Assad. On one side, Russia and China. They're helping Assad stay in power because they've been strategic allies with Assad for years, and because democracy in Syria is seen as a threat to their own governments at home. Russia is leading the charge. Its president Vladimir Putin is protecting Assad, shielding him from harsher punishment at the UN. Iran is also supporting Syria. They're accused of boosting Assad's military power with weapons and equipment. On the other side, countries against Assad, who say he must step down. Chiefly the US, France, and Britain. President Obama has sent American support to Syria's opposition, fighting against the Assad regime. Why does Syria matter to the US? In part because its revolution is calling for freedom and democracy, and because the war has become a humanitarian and human rights crisis. And because Syria's conflict could destabilize the whole Middle East, a region that contains most of the world's oil that's key to the US and global economy. Some Middle Eastern countries also want Assad to go, so they're also supporting the opposition, sending weapons and helping rebels set up operations. With a world of countries pumping guns and money into each side, it's turned Syria into a battle zone. That's made it harder to potentially intervene to take Assad out. And that keeps the death toll rising. With refugees pouring into neighboring countries, a humanitarian crisis that gets worse every day. Already, the war in Syria is spilling across its borders, affecting the wider Middle East, and sending ripple effects to the rest of the world. For Syria Deeply on Prezi, I'm Lara Satrakian.